Hello friends, Bishop Tom Dowd here with another video of Catholic teaching in 10 minutes or less. And in this video, which is a continuation of my series All About God, I'd like to build on something that was brought up in a previous video, and I'm sure will come up again in future videos. And this is about the very nature of God. I mentioned that a question I get often from kids is, if God created everything, who created God? It's a great question, and you can tell the innocence of the kids who are asking it. But the mistake they're making is thinking that God is a being like other beings. You know, you have all of the various things that we experience in the world around us, and they just say, well, if God created all those and God is like them, then somebody must have created him too. Who would have created God? The error is in thinking that God is just like everything else which exists. Created objects, the objects around us, each of them possesses their own nature, their own essence. They're different from each other. A star is different from a planet. A fish is different from a koala. All of these different things have their own particular nature. It identifies what it is. God's nature is to exist itself. God's essence is his existence, which means that nobody created God. God always was. There never is a time when God didn't exist, because God's very nature is to exist. God is being itself. And so you can actually draw a distinction between levels of things which exist. You have the objects that we're familiar with all around us, but then you have this more fundamental level, which is the source of existence, the source of being, what we call the ground of being, the foundation of being, and that is God. God is the ground of being, as I have written here on the board, as a reminder of that very fundamental principle. But I know this can seem a little abstract. What does it mean to say that one being is the ground of another being? Like, what actually are we saying here? And so to try and help make this concrete, I thought I would share with you an analogy that I hope will help explain this for us. I call this the analogy of the view screen. So you can see here, I have a TV. It's basically a big screen. I can plug it into a computer, use it as a monitor, and I can certainly do things like watch videos, display pictures, all kinds of things. It's a screen. I'm sure you all have access to one if you're watching this video. I'm sure many of you have perhaps even a much larger version of this hanging up in your home. Now, we don't buy these things and put them on the wall of our home because we like admiring big blank screens. It's there to serve a purpose. Although we have the object hanging on the wall, we put it there because we want to see something displayed on the screen. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share with you a few pictures. These are pictures I took during my vacation last summer. So the first picture, this is taken from the waters of Lake Nipissing, and the beautiful church in the middle, that is the Pro-Cathedral of the Assumption in North Bay. The next picture, this is a train. I took a train ride from Sudbury to a little town called White River. The train is called the Bud Car. It was a lot of fun. Long ride through the forests, but beautiful to see all the countryside, and met a lot of really fun people. The next picture, this is taken from, this is in Toronto, that's the CN Tower, at a baseball game that I attended. And finally, the most important picture of all, this is my mom, me and my mother. Of course, during my holidays, I had to spend some time with her. Really the best picture of all for me, obviously. She's just someone so dear to my heart, and I'm so happy to be able to spend time with her. These pictures, they're all different from each other, right? The CN Tower picture is different from the train picture, is different from the church picture, is different from the picture of my mom, but they all share something in common. In order for them to exist, in order for you to be able to see them, I need a screen. The screen is not the same thing as the pictures, right? The screen is a physical object. The pictures are a display. But in order for us to have the pictures displayed, we need the screen to act as the background, to act as the canvas. It serves as the ground of being for those pictures. You can have the screen without the pictures, but you can't have the pictures without the screen. Pictures exist, screen exists, but they don't exist in the same way. One of them is the necessary condition for the existence of the other. One of them, this thing, is the ground of being for the other things. Now, it may be the thing that we're most interested in are the pictures, not the screen. No, like I said, nobody buys the screen just to look at a blank screen. We want to see the images. We want to see what's being displayed. And we may not even notice the screen in some ways. Like it's out of our mind. What we care about is what's being displayed. Look at kids watching TV. They're not caring about the screen itself. They care about what's on the screen. Well, it's like us. We are in the world and our attention is drawn to all the things of the world. We may not notice that behind all of the things that capture our attention in the world around us, there is a fundamental level that acts as the source, the ground, the necessary condition for all that we have in the universe around us to be able to exist in the first place. God is the source of the existence of everything else. He's that fundamental, necessary condition, the source of their very being. Just like the screen is the ground of being for the pictures, God is the ground of being for everything around us. He's not the same thing as us, and we're not the same thing as him, but there is a very close and intimate connection because, just like I said, you can't have the pictures without the screen. God is present to us, just like a screen is present to the pictures on it, is that very source and foundation of the things that are displayed. I find this mind-blowing, to be quite honest. It shows how even if we're not aware of everything that God is doing at all times, creation, God creating us, is not just something that happened way back when. Creation is actually a continuous process. Just like if I turn the screen off, the picture goes away, you need to have a continuous flow of the image onto the screen for the image to be there. God is continuously creating us all the time. He didn't just create us once and then walk away. He's creating us. He's creating the entire universe, giving it being as we speak, giving it being as we exist ourselves. And so when we say God is a creator, it's not just a one-time deal. It's a continuous process which we experience. Now, how exactly God does that and what that implies for our relationship with God, well, we need another 10-minute video at least for that. But for now, let's take heart with the idea that none of us are an accident. God is giving us that continuous existence. If he didn't want to, if he didn't want to give us being, he could turn it off, just like you can turn off this screen. The fact that we're here shows that we're precious in God's heart. There's something about our existence that is good, and God affirms that goodness. And so let's take heart of how much God cares for us and the whole universe around us by continuing to give us that being, that existence. God bless all of you.